What's up everyone, we're back here with another tutorial. This one's going to be a high bald fade on my client. We're going to be doing a Chris Brown lookalike cut. This is a style that he did back in the day, so let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start off by combing the hair and then putting our bald guideline right below at the very bottom of his vertical bar, and we're just going to follow that all the way through to the back, and we're going above the occipital bone. And I'm using my gamma hitters right here. This has the P3 blade on there, which is a modified blade, so it gets extra sharp and extra bald. After that, we're going to go ahead and start with our one guard, and I believe the lever is open, and as you can tell in the corners he's a little bit lighter, so I'm going to go ahead and do it with the blade open. So I'm doing the one open, so it's a 1.5 guard, and then as I go into the middle I'm going to close the lever and I'm going to do a one guard just so it lines up the darker area, so it kind of blends with the lighter area so it looks more even and doesn't look so light in the corners. Also, you want to go with the hair growth pattern, so make sure, if the hair is growing forward, make sure you go forward with it. You're not going against the grain. After you cut the top, you want to make sure to dust off your client, make sure that he's comfortable and you get all the excess hair on his forehead. And now we're going to start with our first guideline, which is the half guard, and that's completely closed. And we're going to just make about an inch width guideline, and then we're going to open up the lever halfway and just go up a tad bit more, about 1/4 of an inch. And then after you do that, you're going to go ahead and open the lever all the way open. So once I go through that, I'm going to open it all the way, and I'm going to start going up a little bit more, going at an angle because that's the hair growth pattern. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure to comb as well, so you can see where you're working with. And I'm just going to go with the green right here just to soften it up a little bit, and so it's a smoother transition when I go to the next guard. And we're just going to follow these same steps throughout the whole head. Alright, so usually in the shop I do everything all at once. I don't really sit on one side, just so you get a more symmetrical and even cut. So work your way around the whole head. I'm just going to break it down in quarters of the head just so you could get to see the steps and how I attack it. So make sure you just follow these same steps but throughout the whole head. Also, make sure when you're making your guidelines that they're very clean and clear, that you could really see where the guideline is before you open the lever anymore. Because if you're not being a clean and precise guideline, then the fade will not come out as clean, and you're gonna get confused and it's gonna get rough as you do it. So make sure everything's clean and that you can see the next guideline being made. Also, make sure to always comb the hair so you can really get the excess hairs off and see what you're really working with. Because if you don't comb and dust off those hairs that get caught on the scalp, then you're still going to be confused because you're going to see maybe some darker areas, which all you need to do is comb it through, and then those hairs will fall off and you'll see your clear guideline. Also, when it comes to fading, make sure you find a system that you're most comfortable with. I have multiple different fade systems that I will be showing you guys throughout my channel, but this is the one with the wall system, so this is how I fade with the wall system. But I will show you different ways on how to fade with the Andy's double magnetic guards, and those are the two different ones really. So after we went ahead and did that first guideline, I'm going to go ahead and just start edging them up lightly. This is just a rough draft, like I say. This is just so I could see where the outline's going to be and where I could really determine the fade, what I want to keep dark, what I want to lighten up. So after that, we're going to go ahead and start with the one guard closed, and we're going to work our way up even more. So we're going to go up about another 1/4 of an inch, half inch, and then we're going to go open up the blade halfway and then all the way. So right now we got a complete close. Now we just opened it halfway, and we're continuously going up and off the head, not digging in, just going off of the head. And since he has coarse and curly hair, I'm going to go ahead and go with the grain just to even everything down. And then you just go blade completely open after that. And the one guard, if you guys are getting confused, the one guard is the 30mm The half guard or the 0 guard is a 15 millimeter. So that's more universal. So I know people from UK have been asking me, what's the 0 guard or the half guard. So if you don't have that guard, you can still achieve a fade. It'll just be a little bit more difficult. It takes a little bit more finesse and corner work. But that is the 0 guard when I refer to is the 15 millimeter, or the half guard is the 15 millimeter, and then the 1 guard is the 30 millimeter. So right here we got the blade completely closed. Now we have opened it halfway, going a little bit more up, about 1/4 of an inch, and then we're going to open it up all the way and just go up a little bit more. And then if there's any dark spots, we're going to go with the grain just to line it up, since we did start off with the 1 guard open with the grain. So you could go ahead and close that down and go with the grain around the parietal ridge just to get a even laid down of the hair and take away any excess or dark spots. I went ahead and sped this part up just because the camera angle wasn't the best, but same steps, clipper closed, halfway, and then all the way open. And same thing on this side, we're going to go ahead and line up everything, just doing a quick rough draft, edging it up so I can see what I'm working with. And you don't want to push him back. You want to go natural and go with where his hairline is. Alright, now for the final step, we got to take out that bald guideline. So we're going to start with the clipper all the way closed, and we're going to go about 1/4 of an inch. Just pushing up that line, making a new guideline. Not a new guideline, but we're just pushing up that fade so we get a flawless fade. If you don't push it up, then you're gonna have a line that still stays there and it won't look as smooth. Then we're gonna go halfway and push it up a little bit more, using corners, not really trying to make a new guideline. We're trying to just erase that bottom line. After that, we're gonna go completely open and blend right into that 15 millimeter guard or the half guard closed. And after that, you're just gonna do some detail work just to get that flawless fade. I like to use a brush when I'm doing this step because the brush really gets all the hair off the scalp and you could clearly see what hair is on that you need to fade out. And we're just gonna do that across the whole head. Closed, pushing that guideline up about 1/4 of an inch, halfway open, going up about another 1/4 of an inch, and then completely open, and that'll fade right into that half guard. You want to make sure to use corners, like I said. Don't be afraid to push up. If you made that first guideline with a half guard or the 50 millimeter, a good solid inch and clean, it's gonna fade right into it. As you can see, right when I just do the clipper all the way closed, it pretty much looks faded. But there's still that little bit detail to get that fade to that next level, to get that flawless fade. You gotta just do the detail work in order to get to that. So I feel this fade technique is very simple. I learned it from Miggs the barber, and I think it works really well. When you start with that half guard or that 15 millimeter guard, it really helps set the fade so that when you come back with the clipper close, it's going to be a much easier fade and much easier to get that bald guideline out. Because that was always something difficult for me, was removing that bald guideline. And ever since I started fading like this, my fades went to the next level. It may feel weird at first when you're doing it, because it's not maybe something that you're not used to. Usually, we do the blade completely open, start that guideline like that, but I promise you, if you start doing it this way and do it consistently and really learn this system, you'll definitely see your fades go to the next level. Also, keep track on where you left off with the previous guard, so you could, justify how high you could go with the previous guard that you're going to be on, or the current guard you're on. So if you went about 1 inch up with that half guard, then when you have the blade completely open, you could move up about 1 inch up. As long as you're not, forcing a new guideline using the corners, you'll be safe. So don't be worried, because everything is in millimeters, so it's very small and precise. So you can't be too afraid to push up. When I was beginning barber, I was afraid to push up. I thought I was going to create a new line. But if you stay to this system, I guarantee you'll see a lot better results in your fades. Now that the fade's all done with, we're going to go ahead and move on to the hairline, and this is going to be where we get the line crispy. I'm going to go ahead and spray some hairspray on there and lightly blow dry it dry so that when I put in the lining, it'll come out a lot sharper. And you couldn't use any type of hairspray, holding spray, hairspray, doesn't matter, just something to hold the hair in. Once you get that all nice and dry, you can go ahead and comb the hair through, get it nice and even so that nothing's bunched up. When you are going to attack their hairline, make sure that they're, have the head down where they're in a comfortable position and they're comfortable and where you could see. Have them close their eyes, and I like to start, from one side, usually the weaker side. So I'm starting from the left side, I'm just meeting that in the middle. Not pushing them back, nothing like that. I'm going with his natural hairline, and I'm just meeting that in the middle. And then I'm going to go to the next side and then meet that. And then I'm going to look at the hairline and see what side needs to be brought up, what side's dipping, what side's not as sharp, and then make it all nice and even. And I'm just working on the vertical bars right now. And you want to have a nice soft touch. You don't want to push too hard because you don't want to cut them up, especially if you have a modified blade. You want to be careful. These blades are still soft and I haven't had any complaints about them, but you still want to have a soft hand touch because if you do have to go over it multiple times, it could end up rashing them up or bumping them up or having them get a cut. So now I'm meeting that in the middle, as you can see, but as I can tell, you can see that right side needs to be brought up a little bit more, and I'm going to have him tilt his head down later and you're going to be able to see that. So you go ahead and just have him put his head down. I can see that right side needs to be brought up a little bit more, so now I meet from the middle and I'm just going to go over to the right side. I'm just bring it up a tad bit. It's better to cut a little at a time compared to just bring it all up, because then that's how you push up the hairline. You want to just go little by little and see what's off, and that's how you could get a natural sharp line without pushing them back. I'm going to go ahead and use my razor just to get that nice crisp line. Since we did go ahead and put hairspray on there, that's why you see that white ash line. If you would like to purchase your own razor, you could go ahead and go to my website. It's thebeardedbarber.co. I'll have the links down below and you can purchase your own razor from there. Always make sure to line up the hairline with the razor, because that's how you take your cuts to the next level. It just, when you put the razor to the hairline, it just makes it a whole new look. It just makes it super sharp, so make sure to always razor the line. Now after I got him all razored up, I'm gonna go ahead and double check, look at everything, see what's off. I can still see that right side's dipping a little bit, so I'm gonna try bringing that up a little bit. And this is just how you get that crispy, super sharp lineup. Is you got to go over it. You got to make that first rough draft. After that, go ahead and hit them with the razor and then go back over it. Now we're going to throw some enhancement in there. I'm using the Tune 45 enhancement, and just watch how this lineup goes to the next level. You can see the lineup was super sharp. It looked crispy already, but this is just how you get it to the next level. Because he was, like I said earlier, he was lighter in those corners, and now watch, it's going to look all even and it's going to look super sharp. Look at that. Crazy how much it makes a difference. It doesn't hide a cut, doesn't cover up any mess ups. All it does is enhance the cut to the next level. This is how you get those actor cuts, how they look on TV, how they look on movies, how they look super sharp. This is that next level game, and it's another way to up your services because you are doing something extra compared to the next barber next to you or down the shop. You're doing extra work, and clients notice that and they pay for that, or either they pay for it or they tip you more, but they appreciate it because their haircut is just that next level cut. And I'm not putting too much, I'm just doing very lightly, putting a coat. A little goes a long way. Just want to tap the trigger, see how it looks. If you need to add more, add more. As you can tell, I put very little, looks super natural. If you saw him, you wouldn't even think he had enhancement in his hair. It looks super natural. Look at that fade, looking blurry. And we still haven't even put the bald guideline or the bald shaver in there yet. So just wait until we put the shaver on there, or the fade's gonna pop. Look at that. Look at that hairline. Oh yeah, he's feeling himself. He's nodding his head. He knows what's up. He even said, I've been waiting for this for a long time. Trust me, clients appreciate it if you take that extra step. And now I'm going to go ahead and just line it up again with the trimmers just to get it extra sharp. And I'm going to throw a little bonus tip in there after we go ahead and bald them out. But just taking my trimmers again, just balding them out, going up to where I left that bald guideline. Also, Taurus gang, baby. As you can tell by his tattoo, it's Taurus. His birthday's May 8th. Mine's April 25th, so we're Taurus gang. As you can see, I just pointed to it right there. It's a dope tattoo though, especially when you get a high fade like that. Hella pops, looks dope. Alright, now we're just dusting them off, cleaning them off, and now we're going to follow up with the shaver. So if you are having difficulties, taking out that bald guideline when you're trying to use a shaver, try this technique. Try doing the balding out the end, and get the whole fade right, and then follow with the shaver at the end. It should be a lot easier for you to remove that bald guideline, not having any harsh lines, because now you're blending down compared to blending up. Sometimes blending up gets a little difficult, but as you can see, the fade's popping out, especially once you put that shaver to it. Just takes that fade to the next level, and that's where I left off last with the trimmer. So I'm not going anywhere above that line that I just showed you on the screen right now. All right, you want to go all the way up, and if you do get close to that, you could go ahead and start tapping or going down with the shaver, just to ease and fade out that line. If you do create a line, it's kind of like softening it up. But try doing that. Try doing the bald shaver at the very end compared to in the beginning, and see if that helps with your fade. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to his facial hair. We're just knocking it down to 1 with the grain, and he just likes it super clean, super simple, very nice thin mustache. So we're just gonna bring it down so it's like a pencil mustache, and then we're just gonna line up the chin area. Same thing to the other side, bringing it down so it's super thin. Tell me my boy doesn't look like Chris Brown. He's got the same tattoos, same look, same hairstyle. I mean, Chris Brown's hairstyle different now, but back in the day when he had the short look, I feel like he looks pretty similar. And look at that fade in the back. Woo, that's blurry. He's got dope hair. Now when it comes to the chin, we're just taking it from the outside of his mustache, creating that line. He already has the line pretty much determined. I'm just cleaning it up for him. And then for the bottom, we're just going to use our comb to kind of take away the longer hair so I don't cut the length. And we're just going to make a nice sharp line right below, a little bit off from his jawline. And the same thing on the other side. Just wants to clean up, nothing too crazy. Same thing on the right side, meet it in the middle. Then just step back and see what's uneven, and then just match it. Alright guys, so this is that tip I was talking about. This is the pencil. It's like a highlighter. It's like how girls highlight their eyebrows to make it look super sharp and super arched. This is just a highlighter for his hairline, just so you can see how sharp and how even and symmetrical the hairline is. It's just for a video purpose, for photo purposes, has nothing to do with the cut, doesn't do anything. It's just another little tip that you could add to your service that will show your clients that you care and that you're giving them the most flawless, most crispiest hairline cut ever. So as you can see, it just makes the hairline pop that much more. It looks super crispy. Now I'm gonna come back with the trimmers and just hit the line just to soften up so it's not too harsh. But this cut had me feeling like Get Beamed. If you guys do follow Get Beamed or subscribe to Get Beamed, you could tell that he's got the most sharpest lines out there, the most crispiest hairlines, and this is what he does to his services, and that's how he gets those big tickets where clients are paying $60, $80, even $100 for a cut. This is the extra detail that you got to put into your cuts to be able to charge that much, or to be able to get a tip that high. As you can tell, the hairline's looking super crispy. Some of y'all might hate on it, but I think just for showing your skills off, it's a dope look. It looks sick. You know, obviously it's not something that you do for on a daily basis, but just to make for a video, just to show how you create more value in your services, this is one way. Now we're going to follow up with the razor, get it just even more crispier. And once the cut's done, you guys are going to see how flawless the fade looks, how crispy the hairline looks. And my boy was feeling himself. He definitely was missing this cut. And there you have it. Look at that. Even he said it right there. It's crispy. Fade looks flawless. Hairline's on point. And then I'm just following up with my Barber Nova curved shears. This is just to get those flyway hairs that are sticking up that the guard couldn't get. And I'm just, you know, this is just the extra detail. This is how you charge those big tickets. This is how you charge $40 for a cut, $50 for a cut, $60 for a cut. And that's how you get those big tips. You gotta make sure you fall in love with your craft. Make sure you're working on it all the time, getting better and better, adding new things to your services. Your clients will know, and they'll notice the difference. But YouTube, here it comes. This is the before, when my boy was looking rough, and this is the after. Woo-hoo! Look at that fade, boy. That thing's fresh. Look at that blurry. Hairline's looking super sharp. Fade is blurry, super flawless. Look at that, man. So that's how you execute it. Hope that helped you guys. Hope you guys could follow that system. Make sure to stay to a system and really get it down before you move on, and really work on your craft and make sure that you pay attention to details, add new things to your services. Here was the before, and here's the after. Man, super crispy. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everyone that's supporting me. Make sure to like, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about the pencil and the overall system of the fade. But that's how you guys get the crisp brown look from back in the day. The shortcut with the flawless fade. Also shout out my cousin for the dope beats. But that's it, YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys on the next one, right? I'm out.